Within the PMI-RMP Exam Content Outline, Domain 5, Monitor and Close Risks, is where we find out whether all that strategy, all that identification, all the analysis, response planning, all the work that we've done actually is delivering the results we need. It makes up about 19% of the PMI-RMP exam, and it's the difference between a project that manages risks and one that learns from it. In this domain, PMI is testing whether you can track, report, and continuously improve risk performance across the life of your project. Monitoring is all about staying aware, evaluating effectiveness, and closing that feedback loop to make sure that your risk management isn't just reactive tracking. It's proactive leadership. So in this domain, you're going to gather and analyze performance data. You're going to monitor residual and secondary risks. You're going to update your project documents and lessons learned. And you're going to communicate the overall project risk levels to the right stakeholders. In short, this domain is where you turn risk management into continuous improvement. So let's jump into task 1. Gather and analyze performance data. Your first responsibility is to reconcile risk-related performance data from all the relevant work packages. So you're going to collect metrics like schedule variance, cost performance index, technical quality measures, and any risk indicators defined in your risk management plan. Then you're going to analyze this data to determine progress against the baselines and determining whether your risk exposure is trending up or trending down. So example being, if our response planning activities for a supplier risk are 80% complete, but the schedule variance is still getting worse, then we have a red flag for our project. And most likely, our response strategy may not be as effective as we originally thought. So you perform those variance analysis, trend analysis, to measure the impact of the risks on the overall project performance. And then this gives you a level of exposure to understand how your risk responses are doing. So in the exam, if you get a question that says risk exposure remains high despite all your response actions, the right next step is usually to reevaluate the plan, not collect more data. Task 2, we have monitor residual and secondary risks. Even after responses are implemented, uncertainty doesn't disappear. It just changes shape. And residual risks are what remain after that treatment. Secondary risks are new ones that appear because your response created a new risk. So in this task, you need to track both types through periodic reviews. You're constantly looking. You're assessing the impact on scope, cost, schedule, and you document the current status and communicate any changes to your key stakeholders. An example for this would be you have a cost overrun risk that happened because you're switching vendors. That solved one problem, but it created a secondary risk of quality variance. So what you do is you have to monitor the situation to ensure that both of these risks are visible and controlled. So on your exam, if you see the word new risk emerging from your current risk, your brain should go straight to, this is a secondary risk. And you need to analyze, you need to update your risk register and go through all of the processes of a new risk and then create that little dependency on the other risk. And I talk a lot about secondary, but there's also residual risks. These are risks that when you respond to the risk, there's still a little bit left behind. You need to identify those, maybe throw them back through the process or respond some form to make sure that you at least are tracking and you are finding a way to take care of that little bit of that risk that's still sitting out there. Then we move into task 3, provide information to update project documents. Monitoring all of this work is meaningless if you don't capture what you learn. All you have to do is aggregate, summarize your risk data, and update all the relevant artifacts. Your risk register, new statuses, triggers, ownership updates. You're looking at your lessons learned register. What worked? What didn't? Why? Your project management plan with the change log. You need to reflect the revised strategies or baselines on your project. You might have a risk report that you send out to stakeholders. Are you updating the view of the overall exposure so the executives know what's happening? And then you have to make sure that you take any expired risks and you drop them off your report. Get them off your register so that way you don't have to worry about them. And you can take a new prioritized risk and you can put that into your queue so that way you are tracking all of the right risks for your project. So if you get a question on the exam that mentions a risk trigger date has passed with no event, the correct action is to close and archive that risk in the register. And then we have closeout risks. Just make sure that in this area, you are constantly updating your documentation. Then we move into task 4, monitor project risk levels. Here's when we zoom out. We need to assess the total risk landscape of our project. You're looking at the trend data showing improvement or deterioration and whether your overall exposure aligns with the organizational appetite and thresholds for the project. You then prepare risk reports tailored to each audience, whether it be executives who want high-level exposure summaries and trend lines, and your project team who need detailed updates on all active risks and the response plans that we have out there. The key here, I want you to think about is translation. You're turning that technical risk data into decision-ready insights that your team and your executives can use. So on your exam, if you start seeing things like your risk level exceeds its threshold, you need to escalate, get governance involved, and not just continue monitoring the program. Make sure you're always comparing risk performance against your baselines. You're looking at your thresholds. You're understanding are there residual and secondary risks that gotta stay visible, documented, and reacted to. Keep your risk register and risk reports current. Those need to be living documents that you're using to monitor all your risks throughout your project and communicate your risk levels. Do this in a language that your stakeholders understand. Remember, risk management isn't finished until the lessons are learned and they're shared with the right stakeholders. That's what separates reactive project managers from true risk leaders. And that wraps up domain 5 and the 4 tasks underneath it. This is the final domain of your RMP exam content outline. If you're like final one and you haven't watched domains 1 through 4, go back in my channel and check those out so you can understand every different domain within the PMI-RMP exam content outline. Because together, these 5 domains form the complete life cycle of project risk management: strategy, identification, analysis, response monitoring. If you've followed this series, you now have a clear roadmap of how PMI defines risk management and how you need to think through the exam questions the same way. So if you're preparing for the RMP exam, join my RMP exam prep courses. I'm gonna have a link down in the description so you can pick a date that works for your schedule. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like, drop a comment with your biggest takeaway, and subscribe so you don't miss upcoming deep dives on risk management, project management, and project leadership. Thank you for your attention. I'm Russ Parker, the Bearded PM, out.